All right, it's been a week since our extravaganza of Ghostbusters. We did core memory unlock horror for Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, watch along to Afterlife. Then we had the premiere at Cinema Cafe Edinburgh. We watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I gave my thoughts on short, spoiler free, of course. And Wonderful has actually gone and seen Frozen Empire twice.
Seen it enough for both of us, even though you've seen it.
I've
seen it for two.
I've seen it for two. So now is time for spoiler talk. And the reason why I kind of wanted to do this in the first place, and we miss our friend Rob. He's actually seeing Godzilla and Kong right now as we speak. That's why he's missing.
Somebody's got to do that for the network.
We gotta do things. But I thought it'd be interesting to talk Ghostbuster Frozen Empire because of the response it's gotten, whether fan, whether not, good review, bad review, just the internet entirely. And before we get into spoiler thoughts, have you seen any of this discourse on the interweb? Because I stay out of the interweb now. That's my new 2024 sweetness. So it's really only people talking about what they see.
Yeah, I've seen all over the place. I've seen this is worse than Madam Web to I've seen this is better than Ghostbusters 2. And
which I have put out on our shorts feed right now. I've seen that this is as bad as Madam Web, and I have a wonderful short on Throw Me Podcast Network right now if you want to check that out.
Ooh, I'm going to have to check that out. I actually missed that today. It's been a day. I have not been on much social media today because I have had a day of... So we'll see where this episode goes because my emotions have been... Woo!
Interesting.
The weather of the area has made people something on this day that I'm just like... Let's talk about everybody's takes now on Frozen Empire. Because, all right, before we really get into it, you've given your thoughts. I have only given my thoughts on my radio show. I have not given them here on the network yet. I've given them over the airwaves in a very one specific area.
Now, is this going to include both viewings? Like your spoiler-free thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'll pull up the tweet that I sent. They'll both be spoiler free, but I'll pull up my initial reaction the night of, and then I'll give you I have the time to process it. Let me think. And as I'm stalling. Wow, I realized I did a lot between that time and then.
You're tweeting.
Instant reaction. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is a blast from start to finish. Action packed, scary, and funny. Because I kept it very short and sweet because it was the instant reaction.
Right.
Then went through the weekend, sat on the film, really was like, wow, I really enjoyed that experience. I stand by it's action-packed, it's funny, it's scary, it's a Ghostbusters film. Cool. Let me go back and see it again on Monday. Went back, saw it again, and I gotta say, this film, the hate it is getting, I do not understand, because my feelings of this movie have not changed since that opening night where I've let it settle, and then I had the few days to actually process the film and think about it. This is an enjoyable Ghostbusters film. Is this a perfect movie? Hell no. But you know what? No Ghostbusters movie has been perfect since the first one. It's just, there was lightning in a bottle that launched a franchise. And since then, we've been looking to build that franchise. Here's a film that enhances what Afterlife did, expands the story of the Spangler clan, expands the mythos and where we are going with the Ghostbusters while staying true to the actual pulse of what Ghostbusters has always been,
right,
while also just being a well-told film. Now, I've seen the negatives of, well, it's clunky at parts and this and that. Yeah, okay, maybe, but I guess that really depends on kind of where you are going with the story, if you are along for the ride or not, because I can see where and we'll talk about it, and you know what, I'll say it, I can see where maybe you feel the melody stuff is clunky and stupid and doesn't deserve to be in there, while I see that as very worthwhile, continuing the pull of the thread of what this story really is about.
Right.
And I could also see the other, the other people that go, oh, well, it's clunky here with the expanding the mythos of the Ghostbusters. But again, at the end of the day, that's what I wanted. Like, it seems like a lot of the negative reaction is we didn't get a 3-minute montage of them busting ghosts. We got a family drama instead. That's fine.
And it's funny because I've only been able to see it once, and I do have like, my instant reaction was like, God damn, that's a fun movie. I have a real blast of a time with that movie. And then what I've been able to do post that is really look at the franchise as a whole, and there's so much on the level of Ghostbusters is one of those movies where it was in legend status of you can't remake this, you can't sequelize this, you can't do this past the first two because it sits in the world of Back to the Future. It sits in the world of the original Jurassic Park, and like how you look at Jurassic World, how it's expanded and stuff like that. Like, you never thought Ghostbusters would do that, and what this movie does, and I think so sufficiently because of how they've kind of trained us to be like, hey, it's going to be like a real Ghostbusters cartoon. That's what you're kind of getting with this. And as a fan of that franchise as well, that's 100% what this is. This is just an adventure. It reminds me of Star Trek Beyond, where it's like, oh, we're watching a movie version of the adventures that they go on. It's not necessarily world ending. It's not necessarily world, changing anything. It's just we're on a ride of one of their adventures. And I'm okay with that. Is it my favorite? Absolutely not. I think Ghostbusters Afterlife has an emotional hindrance of like, because of Harold, the Ivan Reitman stuff, Jason Reitman getting involved. There's so much that's a different movie, where if that was a kind of Goonies Ghostbusters hybrid, this is a teen angst Ghostbusters where, our lead Phoebe is just going through a lot, and if you're not accepting of that ride, like you say, yeah, you might have a hard time with it. You might not understand why this is not Ghostbusters 84. And I think what this rebooted franchise has done is out loud say, we're not 1984 Ghostbusters. We're going to give you some hints. We'll give you some of your callbacks, and I hope you enjoy it. But this is not the same thing.
No, and that's what I feel like the negative reaction to this, from the fans at least. I don't really care what the critics say, because the critics, I've read their reviews of that. I've read their reviews of Roadhouse. I've read their reviews of Immaculate. I don't. Let's just say critics don't really give a crap right now.
I just don't know if they know what they're doing anymore.
Yeah,
it's like one movie will get a tomato for the exact same reason another movie will get a rotten score. Right, and I don't understand where your bases are coming. And I get Rotten Tomatoes. I get it's just an algorithm, and even their own algorithm messes up time to time. Like, I'll see a good review, and for some reason it got a rotten. So I know that's not perfect. I look at, and I suggest this to anybody. You find 1 to 3 critics that you trust. Listen to them, and then you can go in with kind of a basis. And that's what I did to this. 2 guys that I normally listen to, one loved it, and one was like, I thought it was all right. And when I left, I feel the same. Like, I can see both points.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I can see the points of like, oh, I enjoyed it. I can't really see the negative if you call yourself a Ghostbusters fan. Outside of, that's like I guess where I was going with this a moment ago is, I feel like there's a portion of the Ghostbuster fans that are like a loud majority of the Star Wars fans, where they kind of like, to hammer your point, this isn't 84 Ghostbusters anymore. And hell, 89 Ghostbusters 2 was not 84 Ghostbusters.
No.
Which is, guess what? Why we didn't get a Ghostbusters 3 until Afterlife. Why they actually did a female version that, for whatever reason.
Even more toxic.
Yes, exactly. And that should have been the eye-opener then. when that happened, that there is a toxic aspect of the Ghostbusters fan base that I think
100%.
is in that Star Wars mindset of it's not the thing I grew up with, so therefore not good. So Afterlife hit them with all the feels, because I did see somebody, there's somebody that I spoke to after that saw it opening day, went out to one of the first screenings to see it. And then when we saw it later on, I was talking to him later that night. They said that they felt this was just a bunch of member berries, to quote South Park, that this was another nostalgia fueled film. And I was like, I didn't get that with Frozen Empire the way I do with Afterlife, because Afterlife hits you because you said there's a lot riding on that with the Harold aspect and the Egon part of that really leans into the member Ghostbusters, remember what you loved,
the equipment, like the way they use the equipment, the way you slowly find and build, all the way to the villain we all knew,
which is Gozer again, and we get Ghost Dog.
That's what I'm saying.
Woo, Ghost Dog.
That's Memberberry. You want to talk Memberberry? That's Memberberry.
That's Memberberry. Not Memberberry is the film that continued the things from the first film, where it brings back the mini Stay Puffs, which we'll get to that in a minute, because I do have some questions regarding that, because it feels like that was just kind of like a throwaway. Like, that feels like that was the one real heavy studio note that was obvious.
Right. We got to
bring back marketing.
Yeah. We got to sell these.
Yeah, because weren't they a manifestation of Gozer? And Gozer was trapped in the last film, so therefore manifestation of Gozer is gone. And podcast simply says, oh, I smuggled them out of Somerville here, so whatever. I don't care. They're adorable. They get a great post-credit scene as well, or mid-credit scene as well. So I love them. I'll take them, because again, to go to it, not the 84 Ghostbusters. This is your kids' Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, and goes into the real Ghostbusters thing with this film as well. This film leans into more of the family aspect in the way the story is told, dealing with the family teenage angst of, hell, Trevor's whole bit for most of this film too. I'm 18, I'm an adult now. An 18-year-old feeling that he's an adult and wanting more responsibilities. Which
handle your problems.
Leads to one of the funniest bits I will fucking say ever in a Ghostbusters film, with the Slimer stuff, that leads to the funniest payoff. Both times seeing that film, I laughed so hard at those bits with him and Slimer, and it gave me the straight up real Ghostbusters feel. More so than 84. Yeah, you did the Slimer thing. Yay, that happened in 84, but they kidded it up. They joked it up. They goofed it up. In 84, we had no idea what the hell we were in for. So the first time you watch that, when Venkman gets attacked, you have no clue what the hell you to expect. Now we know. So now we know when Slimer comes at Finn, you're like, oh, he got slimed.
Right.
Yes, I can see that being a memorabilia of sliming somebody, but overall, I don't know, this is just a really fun film that is for kids and families, which is where Ghostbusters honestly truly has been since Ghostbusters, since before Ghostbusters 2. Because the real Ghostbusters came out before Ghostbusters 2, and that played into them toning down Ghostbusters 2 to be more...
You gotta sell these toys.
Yeah,
all of it's just selling toys.
Yeah, that's what it became, because the franchise rights alone. That joke is so funny now, where it was really just kind of a classic Bill Murray throwaway line joke that now is true. That's what Ghostbusters is. So if you're going into this film and you're like, I need what I had as a kid, you're not going to get what you had as a kid. You're going to get moments of that, but you're going to get a totally new thing that is playing to your kids now.
And it's kind of wild, because it does come off like everybody just imagines that they were 40 years old when they first saw this. Like, you were a kid watching this, and you're lucky enough to watch this, and it is perfect. I mean, how many times do we deal with movies where it's like, oh man, I loved that as a kid, and it just does not hold up? I mean, half these movies that I do on this show, like fucking Airborne and stuff like that, like these things.
Jack Black was awesome in that film. You take that back.
Seth Green too, mother sucker.
Good old
But
Oz.
I just feel like people are just holding on to dear life for something that should evolve. It
Hmm.
shouldn't stay the same. And we all saw this together. We took Kid Hilton to this, and when
Oh
I
man.
left, and this is why you will never see me besmirch this film, no matter if someone doesn't like it. Like I have a buddy who didn't like he goes the route that you've seen where it's like, oh, there's too many characters. I don't know how there's too many characters. I
Wow,
feel
we
like we're
introduced one new
efficiently
Ghostbuster.
I just feel if it, well, not only that, like Patton Oswald is basically a cameo. I don't even consider that character.
He's there for
And
exposition.
then yeah, exactly. And then the only other character is Keel,
Camille
the
and then
fucking
Johnny.
Camille. Yeah, Camille. Well, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking killing that,
You're,
butchering that
you're
name.
you're you're like, hey, let's go to White Castle. That's what you sound like
Yeah,
you're staying over there.
yeah. But like the Fire Master.
Yeah,
So how many new characters can we not have? I mean, like that's any movie. Any movie
yeah.
will bring in someone, especially if it's a sequel, to either freshen up or add story to get from A to B. I mean, Ghostbusters 2, I get that he didn't talk. Oscar is the Fire Master just as much.
We get Oscar, we get a new villain, and we
Mm-hmm.
get Janosch. We
Yeah.
get three characters. What do we
Yeah.
get in this? We get a brand new Ghostbuster that's working for,
Yeah.
with the underground secret Ghostbuster stuff. We
Yeah.
get introduced to Firemaster, and we get a villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations, people! You're throwing a fit about the thing that we got in Ghostbusters 2.
That we do. Like it's wild. Let's get into the
Yeah,
actual
let's meet
spoiler
and
review of this bad boy. Um so one thing from the jump, I guess we can because I
speak
don't want to
about.
go through the entire
No,
fucking
yeah.
movie. I think that'd be
It
ridiculous.
starts with a flashback 100 years ago.
Well, let me tell you,
Well,
my
actually,
favorite
let's go with
thing
that.
is the fact that the firehouse is a hellmouth, and I am into it.
I'm very into that. I will
Yeah,
say, after two viewings, that is maybe the one of the knocks I'll give it is that they kind of
really.
introduce. Well, they introduce it as a hellmouth,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's kind of just we have to protect the firehouse, but we don't
Right.
really expand on that. There's
Right.
so much more that we can do with that. Like, are we
Right.
saving
Right.
that for another film? But you introduced it here. I feel like so I
Mm-hmm.
felt like that was a great introduction, but then
Mm-hmm.
just didn't have the payoff. The way
Gotcha.
Finn and Slimer has a payoff because he
Well,
knows the guy.
I know that guy. No, I just absolutely love the firehouse bit from
Yeah,
1900
yeah,
and like
1901 or something,
something
1907.
like that, 1905, 7. But like we
What
get
is 19?
introduced to the Frozen gimmick. We see a person that we don't know who it is. They wake up, everybody's frozen and breaks and stuff. I think that's so neat. I love that the
Creepy.
movie starts with an adventure. Someone said this before, so this isn't even mine. It's the first Ghostbusters movie where we don't have to wait for them to become Ghostbusters. Even in Ghostbusters 2, they don't touch the proton pack until like 40 minutes into the movie.
They're in a
So
courtroom.
like right, exactly. So like we're ghostbusting from the get of this movie, and like I said, I like all the characters, even the introduction. I like that we have a new like warehouse where we're doing tests on ghosts. I love that we have ghosts. If I have any kind of like schmeh thoughts about it, I just I guess because the movie's already runtime is 2 hours and we don't want to go over, is the fact that we didn't get more Finn and Slimer, that we didn't get more Paul Rudd trying to be a stepdad. Like those things would have been interesting to see, but then the public would have tore it up being like, oh, it's long and boring and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So I get that of, oh, I wish we could have more because even the director said there's like 3, 4 deleted scenes that he wish he could like have in the movie. Understands it's not, but they're going to be on the Blu-ray, and they're not just throwaway deleted scenes. They're deleted scenes you want to see.
okay, all right, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I think it's funny you bring up the ghost busting right away in the open because I did see one of the negatives was while they were like, while we've enjoyed the new ones, the ghost busting films need to get back to busting ghosts, which
Right.
almost broke my head
Right.
because, as you said, this is the first time in any Ghostbusters film outside of the female one. You want a film where they bust ghosts a lot? Go watch the female one. They bust like 4 ghosts before we get to the freaking third act. So yeah, they get right into going into the ghost busting in that.
Yeah.
But this does. It opens with an action fueled chase of a ghost through the streets of New York City, and gives you plenty of other action-filled moments of Finn with Slimer trying to catch him, interacting with the ghost. We'll get to Melody in a minute, interacting with Melody, having a moment with that as well with the proton packs. Like, there are a lot of moments involving the ghost and the Ghostbusters and trying to bust the ghost in this. So what you getting mad about with the busting of the ghost? Go watch part 2 again and tell me that this doesn't have more ghost busting in 10 minutes than the 10-minute finale of that film.
Yeah.
Because this film's finale deals with busting ghosts and dealing with possession and stuff like that longer than damn Ghostbusters 2 does dealing with its final villain. So, I don't, again, my brain kind of hurts because I feel like there's just a negative coming at this film and like kind of trying to create this narrative off of this one. Because I have seen as well a few of the we should just let this franchise go to rest for a while, and it's like, no,
it just started.
We just retooled it again.
Yeah,
and it's perfectly set up, and audiences are coming out to see it. And why would we shelve it because you got mad that there wasn't a 3-minute running around New York City? And guess what? In all those 2 originals that you claim that they're busting ghosts in those montages, in the first one they don't bust a damn thing. They're just running around New York City with cuts of TV people and Casey Kasem doing his thing and seeing Dana in her apartment. It's just them running around with the proton packs.
Like, you see traps. You see that they have traps.
I got it. And then run.
That's it.
In part 2, you just get the jogging ghost. That's it. You just get the little jogger. Bye. That's it. The rest of it is still them just running around with the proton packs and going, got one. Hey. Oh, the commercial. The commercial happens in it. So I guess we're going to count the fake ghosts that they have flying around.
Right.
I don't know. There's just, sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent.
Well, no. It made me think of something. It made me think of, like, what it does about busting. Like,
makes me feel
well, it makes me feel good. McKenna, when she's actually going with Melody, like talking to her and stuff like that, like she has to go. She gets a call to go bust a ghost, and it's her. So now there's even like emotional stakes to busting them, because now it's like, wait, I have a connection with this ghost. So why?
I've made friends with this ghost.
Right. So
I want to kiss this ghost and go to prom with this ghost.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Let's get into Melody. Let's get into Melody. So in the movie, she's playing chess with Phoebe. They kind of have a conversation. And then there's like, they're becoming friends. Hey, you're welcome into the firehouse. This is where you store them, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of find out like she's also going to turn on her because she wants to see her family. But there is a point where they kind of tease that Phoebe wants to kiss her and they could have a connection. Boo. Do you think that's where most of this toxicity lies? Like, is it really, I'm yelling about this, but really what I'm mad at is this is the woke busters. This is, you're giving the girl. And that's where I think, honestly, where they're shelling it with, oh, it's just too long. There's no Ghostbusters. It's member berries. But really what you're mad at is that a girl is in love with a girl.
Possibly
a girl ghost.
In love with.
Possibly. You know, they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it. There is definitely a strong sense there. I mean, everybody I seem to have talked to afterwards had gotten that sense, which... like I said, I actually don't care. I very much was into the Casper the Friendly Ghost thing. Although I will say, the one part about the Melody thing that I just her arc to me was maybe the most predictable from the moment they
Yes.
introduced her.
Oh, 100%.
Where the minute
she has a fire thing?
Yeah. Although I will say that it annoyed me that the one thing that I didn't pick up on actually is as far as her arc goes, I knew that she was going to be bad, that she was just using her
and then
would be good and find redemption because what her goal was clearly never going to be accomplished. She was being lied to, which is why she was lying to somebody that she does actually grew to build a relationship with. Started with the I'm coming in to just get info from you. I kind of like you. Fuck, I do like you. I feel really bad that now I'm gonna force you to kind of kill yourself for 2 minutes and then release this guy. But I want to go ghost. Home. But but I want to see my family to, wait, of course he can't accomplish that, so now I'm going to help you. But stupid me, despite the fire thing, I don't know why the fuck I did not put that together. Pardon my French. I know we shouldn't, in this review.
That's fine.
But I just, it was one of those where once she lit it, I don't know if you heard me next to you, where I was like, like I actually reacted because in my head I was like, I knew she was gonna have a redemption arc. How did I not piece together she was gonna? It was
staring at you in the face the whole time.
Like they literally put it in my face the whole time. They kept having her light it in front of me, and I was like, it's her unfinished business. Whatever. I don't really care. Just make out.
So one thing that I'd like to get into now is the big bad of the movie, like the creepy, frozen, death chill, bad man pajama, and why I think we needed Melody and all this is because they didn't want us to get too familiar with him. Like when you look at Garaka. I was like, Mortal Kombat's Baraka. Garaka, like the way they used Vigo in part 2 to that big lead up to nothing, I think they did this swimmingly. There was this kind of like mirror of Gozer and Zool where like you didn't know what this creature was. You didn't have like this emotional basis with it. Yes, in Afterlife we do because we've seen this entity before. But I like the fact that we're never introduced until the end with it because I think there's something very scary about this creature in this movie. I think very well done. Like I said earlier, it's an adventure. I think it was a perfect way to have this being, a perfect way to just reintroduce the Ghostbusters in New York. If I have one note about the finale, I get that we had all the OGs there that are standing, that would be there, but the fact that we brought them all in to put on proton packs and then all they did was pull down a lever was kind of weird to me. Like, I enjoyed like Lucky's frozen laser, and a couple of them did that, and I love that Phoebe figured out, it can't last with this certain coil. I'm gonna try to fight it with that. But the whole like everybody pull down on this lever bit, it was kind of a little much for me.
Yeah, when the light is green, the whole world is clean. Yeah, I will say that I have seen. So I've seen some reactions to it of people complaining that they were even there, which to me, F off on that, because we've been screaming to have a new Ghostbusters film and have them back, and now we are getting new ones and they exist in the world. So allow them to come in and play. One thing I saw absolutely, like, the comment section blew the dude up, where he was like, why are these people even still showing up? Bill, like, they should go off and do movies that like matter and this and that and like go for Oscars. And everybody was like, Bill Murray's like entire career post Ghostbusters 2 is what you're saying.
Is that
like, and they all are now coming back because they have a love for this and want to be involved with this.
And that's
and this
the
is
issue
just fun for them.
Like, and what's like, the issue with that?
It's their golden years.
But not only that, you're looking at it, not you, but
Yeah, this
whoever
person.
is looking at it as Bill Murray is in Ghostbusters. Peter Venkman is in Ghostbusters. Peter Venkman still works for the Ghostbusters.
Yes,
And if
does.
shit's going down, where do you think Peter Venkman goes? It would be weird if Peter Venkman was not at that scene. I'm just saying the whole
You're right.
pull the thing
Yeah.
is the weirdest part. Them being there, they had to be there to find
Yeah.
I just figured, oh, maybe they'll all cross the streams. Maybe fucking Annie Potts will fucking use the fisting proton fist. Like using these things, not just like, oh, we fall down, we die, we go down to the bottom, pull the thing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, and I'm with you.
Actual critiquing of what their characters would be doing in the fight.
And I'm with you on that. Is that at the end there, like it was great. It was built. It seemed like felt like it was building up to this real big. They were gonna have a big moment, and
Right.
they did have moments. I'd say in that with the great Christine Ecto one moment with them. With
Oh, the red lights and the,
Oh my God, that was
get out of here.
That was the
That was cartoon. That was 1000% real Ghostbusters. The car got possessed. Evil
Oh,
Dead possession. Like,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, you're kidding me.
Oh yeah, I was like Stephen King right now. Just went 6 to midnight.
6 to
like,
midnight.
He's so stoked that Ghostbusters just did Christine. Like, yeah,
Right.
that was so cool.
Yeah.
And like they were there for all of that.
Yeah.
But then you're right. Essentially, they became, you know,
like they could have
and
died.
I don't know.
Right.
You know, all right, just pull the lever. You know, we trust you. Just a lot of just
I
a
do
lot
like
of great
that
Bill Murray
line.
moments. Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
Bill Murray
it
was just throwing bombs, man.
Oh my
Banger
God,
after
was he ever?
banger.
We're gonna need a bigger trap. Ray, pretend I don't know.
Pretend I don't know.
Like, yeah, and those
Tall,
two
dark,
days-
and horny, 12
Yeah.
o'clock.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
The minute he shows up, every scene Bill Murray is in. Which, by the way, to circle back to his first moment here,
Yeah.
I got the impression, and I wish I could talk to anybody involved in that scene.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bill Murray would be impossible because you know he's a legend.
Right.
But
Right.
Kamal, Gil, Jason, anybody, because I swear to you, that whole back and forth they had to be
Improv.
99% improv.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think he knew he was going to throw the pin.
No, I don't think the first time he knew that was going to happen. I and even the way that they were like talking, where he's like, just normal questions that, you know, if you were a human, you could answer.
You
Like,
were human.
it's like I was like, are they just riffing right now? Because
Right,
I love
right.
it. Like, let
Do
the
you
camera
like
go.
dogs or hate them? Would you eat a baby? I
Is
feel
it-
like
Is
I
it
feel-
a human baby?
I feel
Are
like
any type of
that's
other babies?
I feel like that's Curb Your Enthusiasm style.
Yeah.
Where the director was like, "Look, we gotta get you to the point where you're both looking at the flame in the background. Get there.
Yeah.
Just
how do you
get him there. You're
Just
investigating him. You're interrogating him. Get him to look at that flame after like 4 minutes.
Yeah, just keep going, guys.
Yeah,
Do something that
I'm into
makes him
that.
get angry. You know, like
I'm into that.
just it felt very like, but the good type of improv, like where I
Yeah.
didn't feel like this was. Oh God, it's like, oh my God, look at Bill Murray doing his thing, and look at Kumal just doing it right back with
Right,
it. Just
right.
step by step, these two, like, you have two really funny people right now just feeding
Right.
off of each other, having a good time in a
Right.
Ghostbusters film
Right.
with a bit of a callback there, you know, like, but
Mm-hmm.
that was where, to me, that was where all the callbacks were, was when the original showed up, and not even so much Dan when
Mm-hmm. No.
Ray was there, because we haven't even spoken about Ray's arc in this one.
I think he had a good arc.
I love his arc.
I enjoy the fact that he still wanted to be there. I love that podcast
Bitter.
became his buddy. He's a little bitter. I like I'm still trying to solve ghosts. I understand I'm old and I don't want to give
Yeah.
it up. Like there's some actual like heartwarming stuff, and I love Winston. I think
Ugh.
they get some back and forth because
Everybody
those two,
loves Winston right now.
right? But
Have
I
you
feel
not
like
seen the internet?
oh,
Oh wait, you don't internet.
I don't internet. I don't know.
Internet thirst trapping, baby.
I've met that man. He's a goddamn saint.
Oh,
But
internet wants to know what he's doing. They've been saying he is the best.
I did see an article. I saw an article being like, everybody talks about Paul Rudd being ageless, but what about Ernie Hudson?
What about Ernie?
Yeah,
God, I never looked at him that way before. I'm a Winston fan now.
You have to be. You have to be. No, I enjoy this movie. Again, I don't think it's my favorite. I think it's watchable as hell. I think I'll go back to it more often than not. I might actually even watch it more than Ghostbusters 2. I don't know yet, just because I haven't, but I have a kinship with it through my kid. Like, for my kid, his first Ghostbusters movie in theater, this is now his Ghostbusters. Like, this is his one. And I'm really hopeful that he'll continue to love it as much as I did the original.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The whole toxic behavior of how people act towards it's weird to me. Especially when you look online and you go to Rotten Tomatoes and the audience score is an 84. That's only 10% less than what Afterlife had, or even the original. So, like, why is there so much yelling about it? I do not understand. If you could tell me, please.
I mean, I do have a theory on the internet these days, period. Mm-hmm. That I mean, it goes back a couple years, but it's really amplified over the last however many months. But basically, the internet is just the loudest, worst part of the fringes.
Yeah.
And
the internet became 1989 New York.
It did. The internet really is 1989 New York. It really is 100%. They feel that because they're on the internet, they have the God-given right to be a miserable piece of shit and make everybody else miserable and scream their stupidity into a void of the internet. And the minute you come back with any form of logic, they just come back with, well, you're this or you're that. Just some stupid,
just something stupid
thing. And it's like, okay, that's great. But the majority of people, when you look at the actual, like, because you're right, if you look online, you'd be like, wow, I heard critics don't like it. It looks like fans don't like it. But then you go to the page and you're like, oh, critics, they're like 44% on it, but audience seems to really like it. Why is the internet mad? Oh, it's the internet.
It's the internet.
It's the fringe of whatever group just screaming.
Like, I can't even be mad at, like, I looked at IMDb and it has a 6.5. I bet when it wraps up, it'll probably go to 6. Exactly. Like, it's good. It's not. And that's the thing as well. I think people forget that there are actual, like, meters to a good movie. Mm-hmm. Where, like, 3 is good. 3.5 is good, too. 4 is great. Like, 5 is the best of all time. We throw 5 like every movie is supposed to be a 5. Yeah. And that's what really, when we left originally, where you were like, I don't know if this will make my top 10. And I even thought to myself afterwards, I was like, I don't know if it'll make my top 10. But
just right now, about the rest of the year.
Who knows? Who knows what the rest of the year brings? I mean, I remember last year me being like, I liked a lot. I didn't love a lot. But that could be this year too. And I like this movie. I like this movie. Am I in love with it like the OG? Absolutely not. But I was happy it was 2024 and I got to go see a Ghostbusters movie with a Beetlejuice preview. What's happening?
Oh my gosh. Let me just tell you. Because of that Wokebusters, I should have just left after the Beetlejuice trailer. But you know what? Because they messed up Wokebusters, I bet it's woke juice. Did I internet correctly? Did I internet
you did it. You did it.
I figured out how to internet.
Here's your mood slide.
Yeah. But all right, before we wrap it up, I gotta ask you, because we have not talked about one returning character that I guess made it too difficult for people to follow along because we introduced a returning character. Our mayor of New York City.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Dickless.
What did you think of his involvement? Because in a way, having seen it twice, I feel that his involvement almost is similar to that of the OGs are there to just pull a lever.
Maybe, and maybe it's more so, do you really need to be around? But without him, then there's no reason for Phoebe to have angst.
That's true. That's true.
Like, if he's not
He is
there
the
to
setup.
say Ghostbusters can't Ghostbuster, especially with her, then what the fuck is she going to be
Yeah.
angry about?
We
Like,
don't let kids
could,
sign up to be firefighters and police. We don't let
right.
kids ghost bust.
So here's the thing: if it's not him, it's another new character.
Mm-hmm.
Give me him, because at least now I have some kind of emotional connection
Yeah.
to.
I already don't like
exactly. I mean, how many times? So is every new mayor going to be an asshole? Like, is that the deal?
I mean, a New York mayor.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
Fair enough. But I didn't mind him. I don't mind him. I don't mind that the same librarian is there. Like the
cool.
lead librarian. I was like, what a cameo. Like, random cool cameo. And then the ghost being there, I mean, a little too on the nose, but I was fine with it.
You know what's funny? The second viewing that I had, what I do like about a second viewing is obviously knowing where jokes are, knowing where certain ghosts are. I was pretty blown away at the reaction that scene got with the library ghost. A lot of people got really excited in a matinee 12 noon showing.
Nice.
Got very excited. And I was like, oh, good for library ghosts to get the pop.
Right? Good for you. Good for you.
You're getting a bigger pop than Roman Reigns is going to get at WrestleMania. Like, look at you go. Way to go.
Look at you. Look at you.
I do want to say, though, you're right.
Yeah.
You might have swayed me a little bit on the Mayor Peck thing. But it just, in the sense of, I guess, I knew he was obviously going to be a thorn in their side. But what I will say that 100%. I liked about his character this time is it seemed like, yes, he still has a vendetta against the Ghostbusters, but is handcuffed by the bureaucrats of crap. Like, they're doing things that are helping the city.
Right.
People like them. And then it leads to that great moment at the end where he gets called out for being dickless.
Dude, I popped so hard because the whole time I was like, okay, who's going to do the dickless reference? And the fact that it's just some random guy, hey, yo, dickless!
And he reacted to it? It was great.
It's fucking... That's 84 Ghostbusters. Yeah. Like, there's your homage. That you got something that comedy fucking pulled off perfectly.
Yeah.
Because
you're never gonna learn.
Oh, yeah. But no, I love that. I love that it kind of ends like the first two Ghostbusters where we're in the city and the fucking people are loving it.
Crowd's
like
going nuts.
Yay, that's what I wanted. Now this third one in this trilogy, now it can be something completely different. Like, now I want something fun of, like, just really quickly, I even thought it today getting ready for this. I was like, what I would really like is almost a Spider-Man Far From Home scenario where the Ghostbusters have to go on a road trip adventure. So you can do Vacation meets Ghostbusters, whether you go overseas to London to fight ghosts or it's an actual road trip to, and you have Carrie Coon, you have Paul Rudd driving while the kids are now 18 trying to be young adult Ghostbusters.
Sorry, I'm laughing over here because I'm picturing the third act. Sorry, folks, there are no ghosts here. Didn't the moose outside tell you?
That's right. And then the moose becomes big and they got to fight it. Yeah, I'm into
and Paul Rudd pulls out the proton pack. You're going to take me
You're going to take me in there.
We drove all the way from New York City.
Love it. I met that guy. I met that kid from that movie. That's right.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, you did.
I did. I met Russ. Fuck. I should have said something about Russ. But yeah, so that's our thoughts on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Solid film. Funny.
It sucks that I feel like I have to defend this movie. Like, I like it. I don't think I need to defend it as hard as I have to, it seems.
I don't feel I need to defend this as hard as, unfortunately, I hate to bring it up and say it, but the way that we had to come out swinging for 2019. Yeah. Like, when we had to really fight back against the negative.
From the first trailer.
Yeah, from the moment it came out where nobody wanted to give it a shot, and then we went and we saw it on opening night. Not together, but we saw those opening nights separately, and both of us had the same, like, why were people
That was
so
fun.
mad?
Why
Like,
are you mad at this comedy fun?
Don't be mad.
And
This was, you know, I still always say it to the day. Honest Trailers nailed their honest trailer of it.
uh-huh.
The females did a studio mandated comedy on an IP
Yep.
we know
Hmm.
just as well as the men. Great. That's wonderful. So they did
Yeah.
a Ghostbusters
They did a
mandated film,
Ghostbusters movie.
right?
Yeah.
So they did
Right.
it good. They made a
Right.
good Ghostbusters film. Cool.
Yeah.
And I have seen that movie on a lot recently, and I've technically have watched it from beginning to end because of that, with how much
Hmm.
AMC's been showing it.
Right.
So yeah, you know, but I don't feel that the fighting for this one is the level of
It's
that, because I
it.
feel like too much of the people enjoyed this one, that it really is just a lot of fringes now of like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
really looking to find like the bitch and complain.
Well, it's funny because like I've listened to a lot of things that talk about the second weekend and stuff, and like currently, like there is good word of mouth going for it, and I think there's a good chance it has a good second week. I don't think it's going to make that super blockbuster money that you would think that it could, but I think it's going to do well. I think by the time it hits home video, it's going to do gangbusters
Mm-hmm.
there. And then we'll get a third one, and hopefully the third one is just something different to make people go, okay, now I get it. Now, because these kids aren't going to be kids anymore. They're going to be young
No.
adults. So now we can get into franchising. We could separate, like there can be new Ghostbusters in Chicago. Fucking there can be this Ghostbuster. Like I think the whole point of this trilogy is just to open it up, and I'm here for it. Open it up. Open me up.
I mean, that's where I felt a lot of the setup was as well, with the whole, you know, Winston funding the secret
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbuster stuff and all that, the underground
Mm-hmm.
ghostbusting. Uh, with the we're expanding it. We're taking ghostbusting to a whole new level.
Right.
Now, I could see them unfortunately like keeping it in New York and stuff like that, but there's so much to pull from between the real Ghostbusters, between the games, between other
Mm-hmm.
things. You know, I think there are comics of it as well. There's
Yeah.
definitely,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
there's so much of it to pull from, where you can tell stories where, yeah, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? It doesn't just need to be the one firehouse. Because again, I think you keep it in New York because they introduced the firehouse essentially being a hellmouth. So
Right.
it kind of leads to that New York is going to be the area of the lot of the charge,
Right.
which I'm cool with.
Yeah.
But you can
Sure.
take it to like, we can go to Queens with this. We can
Mm-hmm.
go to different, like, we can really honestly move it around the city and do different things while putting the city at risk.
But in the best part about it and why I love it, because it's almost like Marvel where you can do any type, you
Mm-hmm.
can make a straight horror one, you can do all comedy, you can do kid version. Like there are so many different avenues, and that's how I feel. Like we only have 5 Ghostbusters movie, and if you count 2 as in a part of one, all times they've done the franchise, they all don't feel like the same movie.
No,
They all just have the same proton packs. There's things we remember and stuff, but like
just the little
everybody,
member berries.
it's just something different each one. Like if I feel like I just want to laugh the whole time, I'm gonna watch 2016s because that thing's just throwing lines like crazy.
Yeah.
If I want the old school, I'll watch 84. If I want to just fucking feel like I love my family, I want to watch a family movie, I'm going to watch the new ones. But like, I don't think they're going to just stick with it. I think everything's going to evolve to different things. And I'm not going to lie, go ahead and give me that Chris Pratt, Channing Tatum one that the Sony leaks talked about fucking so many years ago. Let's go. Let's just
I can't
do
believe
it.
it never happened. I can't.
I'm
believe it
shocked.
never
I am fucking shocked.
happened. Between that and the Men in Black one, I'm like, how did
I
you
don't know.
guys?
I don't know how 23 Men in Black didn't happen.
Like, how did we really?
MIB
missed out on
23.
something.
That's right. MIB
Yeah,
23.
MIB
That's
23.
right.
That would have been.
Fucking
God,
golden.
that's where it should have gone, and now we've missed the boat on that, and I am
Oh yeah,
so mad.
it's gone now.
That was definitely one of the things from the leaks that they were like, "Oh damn, maybe this would have been a positive if it got out earlier." Like, yeah, because
Yeah.
you would have made a movie that we all would have paid to see, assholes.
100%. 100%.
Like, don't joke putting one of our new favorite franchises up with something that we love. God, it couldn't be worse than Men in Black International. Trust
And
me.
then that's what we got. That's what we got. Yeet. Wow. let's end on a good Sony note. Go see this movie. I'm
Please.
Zach. That's wonderful.
Yes, it's me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.